Hey everyone, Laura Ronson here. And what I'm about to tell you right now is going to stop you completely in your tracks. Because this isn't just another corporate relocation story. This isn't a company moving a satellite office or quietly downsizing a regional department. What just happened in Colorado is something so staggering, so breathtakingly humiliating for the state's political leadership that I genuinely had to sit down when I first heard it. A $300 billion artificial intelligence giant, one of the most strategically important technology companies on the entire planet, just picked up and left. Gone. Done. Finished with Colorado. And here's the part that should make every single American who cares about economic sanity absolutely furious. The governor of Colorado, Jared Polis, did not receive a phone call. He did not get a sit-down meeting. He did not get a courtesy email. He found out that his state's most valuable company was leaving the way a teenager finds out their ex moved on. He read it on social media. Let that sink in for 1 second. The governor of an entire American state found out on Twitter that a $300 billion company was gone. If that doesn't tell you everything you need to know about where the power in this country has shifted, nothing will. I'm Laura Ronson, and on this channel, we cover the economic realities that the mainstream media is too scared, too compromised, or too ideologically captured to touch. So buckle up, because by the time this video is over, you are going to see the corporate exodus from blue state America in a way you have never seen it before. But before we dive deep into this absolute catastrophe unfolding in Colorado right now, I need you to do one thing. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. Here's why this matters. We are tracking the real-time economic collapse of America's progressive-run states. Not theories, not political talking points, hard data, SEC filings, relocation records, and the kind of facts that politicians desperately do not want you to see. And I promise you, what's happening in Colorado today is coming to a city near you tomorrow. This is the warning shot. So let's get into it. Let me set the stage for you, because context is absolutely everything here. Palantir Technologies is not some startup you've never heard of. This is not a scrappy little tech company operating out of a garage. Palantir is one of the most powerful, most strategically significant artificial intelligence and data analytics companies in the entire world. We are talking about a company valued at over $300 billion. A company that works directly with the United States military, the intelligence community, and some of the largest governments and corporations on the planet. A company whose technology is literally embedded in the national security infrastructure of this country. And for years, Colorado got to call this company its own. Denver got to benefit from the tax revenue, the high-paying jobs, the prestige, the economic ecosystem that comes with hosting a company of this magnitude. Politicians proudly put Palantir on their economic development brochures. They pointed to it as proof that Colorado was a serious player in the technology economy. And then, in February of 2026, in a brief post on X, formerly known as Twitter, Palantir announced they were moving their principal executive office to Aventura, Florida. Just like that. 20 words. $300 billion. Gone. Now here's the number that should absolutely destroy any remaining confidence you had in Colorado's political leadership. The governor, Jared Polis, actually admitted out loud at a press conference that he received zero advance notice of this decision. Zero. He was not consulted, he was not warned, he was not brought into any conversation whatsoever. A company with 4,400 employees, a market valuation larger than the GDP of most countries, and deep roots in his state simply filed papers, updated their SEC filings, and posted on social media. And the governor of Colorado sat there at his desk and found out about it the same way you and I did. By scrolling through his phone. Think about what that tells you about the relationship between Colorado's political establishment and the business community they supposedly serve. When a $300 billion company doesn't even give you a courtesy call before walking out the door, that is not a business decision. That is a message. That is corporate America saying loudly and clearly, we do not owe you anything. We are done. And frankly, who could blame them? Drop a comment right now and tell me. Does this shock you, or did you see this coming from a mile away? But here is what the mainstream media will not tell you. This did not happen overnight. This is not a bolt from the blue. This is the inevitable, completely predictable result of years of policy decisions that have made Colorado an increasingly hostile environment for business. Let me walk you through the numbers, because the numbers here are absolutely damning. Colorado's state income tax rate sits at 4%. That sounds reasonable on the surface, right? Until you stack it on top of federal taxes and you realize that high-earning tech executives are surrendering close to half of their income before they spend a single dollar. But the income tax is just the beginning. Colorado's regulatory burden has been exploding. Environmental compliance costs, new labor mandates, housing regulations that drive up the cost of everything, it all adds up. And when you're a company whose executive talent can work literally anywhere in the country, why would you anchor your headquarters in a state where the cost of doing business climbs higher every single year? Now compare that to Florida. Zero state income tax. Not lower, not reduced, not temporarily paused. Zero. For a company like Palantir, whose senior leadership earns extraordinary compensation packages measured in millions of dollars annually, the difference in take-home pay between Colorado and Florida is staggering. We are talking about individual executives saving hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. Every year. Forever. When you do that math across an entire executive leadership team, the numbers become so obvious that it would be financially irresponsible to stay. Now let me introduce you to someone. His name is Jason. That's not his real name, but his story is absolutely real and it is playing out across Colorado right now. Jason spent 11 years at Palantir's Denver office. He wasn't a senior executive. He was a mid-level data engineer, the kind of person who shows up every day, does excellent work, believes in the company's mission, and builds his entire life around the assumption that this job is stable. Jason bought a house in the suburbs. His kids are enrolled in good schools. His wife got a job nearby. His parents moved closer to be near the grandchildren. His entire existence, his mortgage, his kids' education, his social network, his sense of identity, all of it was structured around one fundamental assumption, that Palantir was in Colorado for the long term, and then came the announcement. Move to Florida or find something else. Jason is in his late 30s. He is not a billionaire executive who can pack up a mansion and call a relocation specialist. He is a real person facing an impossible choice that was made for him by politicians who never once sat down with a company this important and asked the most basic question any government official should ask. What do you need to stay? That question was never asked. The answer was never sought. And now Jason and hundreds of people like him are paying the price. Here is where this story gets even more infuriating because the pattern Palantir is following is not new. It is not unique to Colorado. It is not some aberration. It is the exact same playbook that Citadel ran when it left Chicago. It is the exact same playbook that Tesla ran when it left California. It is the exact same playbook that an accelerating parade of American companies have been running for the last 5 years as they flee progressive governance for states that actually want them. Think about what has happened just in recent memory. Caterpillar, with nearly 100 years of history in Illinois, gone to Texas. Boeing's headquarters, gone from Chicago. In-N-Out Burger, one of the most iconic California brands in existence, gone to Tennessee. Chevron, a California company for generations, gone to Texas. And now Palantir, Colorado's crown jewel of the technology economy, gone to Florida. Each time it happens, the politicians say the same thing. They minimize it. They call it an isolated business decision. They say the fundamentals of their state remain strong. They hold a press conference with forced confidence and tell residents not to worry. And every single time, more companies are watching. More CFOs are running their own cost analyses. More CEOs are quietly calling relocation consultants. Because here is the dirty secret that no progressive politician will ever admit out loud. When a company as large and as prestigious as Palantir leaves, it does not send a signal of confidence to the companies that remain. It sends the opposite signal. It tells every other major employer in Colorado exactly what Palantir already figured out. This state's government does not value you. This state's government will not fight for you. And this state's government will raise your costs every single year while patting itself on the back for progressive governance. Get out while you still can. Let's talk about what Florida is actually doing, because this side of the story is the part that genuinely needs to be told. Florida is not winning by accident. Florida is not winning because of the weather, though the weather certainly does not hurt. Florida is winning because its state government made a deliberate, strategic, unapologetic decision to compete. Governor Ron DeSantis and Florida's economic development apparatus are not sitting back waiting for companies to discover them. They are hunting. They are actively targeting major employers in high-tax progressive states with precision campaigns. They are calling CEOs personally. They are running targeted advertising campaigns specifically aimed at corporate decision-makers in cities like Denver, Chicago, New York, and San Francisco. They are offering white-glove relocation assistance. They are making every single company that considers Florida feel like the most valued partner imaginable, and it is working on a scale that is genuinely staggering. Palantir's move to Aventura, Florida makes it the largest publicly traded company now headquartered in South Florida. Let that register. The largest publicly traded company in South Florida. That is not a minor footnote. That is a fundamental reshaping of where American technology and defense innovation are centered. And Florida did not get there by raising taxes. Florida did not get there by piling on regulations. Florida got there by doing the simple, obvious, common-sense thing that progressive states seem constitutionally incapable of doing. They made it worth staying. Now here is the question that Colorado's political leadership is absolutely terrified to answer publicly. What is the actual fiscal damage of losing Palantir? Because this is not just about one company and its employees. This is about the entire economic ecosystem that a $300 billion company supports when it is present and destroys when it leaves. Think about the corporate law firms that handled Palantir's legal work. Think about the accounting and financial advisory firms that manage their books. Think about the technology vendors, the office supply companies, the catering contractors, the cleaning services, the security personnel. Think about the restaurants near their Denver offices where executives had client lunches every single day. Think about the commercial real estate that housed their operations. Office space that now sits vacant in a Denver market that was already struggling with post-pandemic occupancy challenges. Every single one of those businesses, every single one of those jobs, every single one of those tax dollars now flows to Florida instead of Colorado. Economists call this the multiplier effect. And for a company of Palantir's size and scale, that multiplier is massive. The direct tax revenue lost is significant. But the indirect economic damage, the downstream collapse of the ecosystem that depended on Palantir's presence, could be 3, 4, 5 times larger than the headline number suggests. And what is Colorado's plan to replace it? What is Governor Polis's strategy to fill a $300 billion hole in his state's economic prestige? There is no plan. There is no strategy. There is only the same tired reassurance that Colorado's fundamentals remain strong. Meanwhile, Florida is already planning the press conference to celebrate what they won. Let me bring this home for everyone watching, because whether you live in Colorado or not, this story matters to you. What we are witnessing in real time is the most dramatic economic realignment in American history since the rise of Silicon Valley. For decades, progressive-run states held an enormous structural advantage. They had the talent pools, the research universities, the venture capital networks, the cultural cachet that attracted the best companies and the best workers. That advantage is evaporating. Not slowly, not gradually. It is evaporating at warp speed because the economic pain of staying in high-tax, over-regulated, politically hostile states has finally crossed the threshold where no amount of cultural prestige or networking advantage can justify it. Palantir is a company worth $300 billion. It works with the United States military. It has some of the most sophisticated economic minds on the planet running its operations. And those minds looked at Colorado and Florida, ran the numbers, and made the rational choice. When a company of that caliber, With that level of analytical firepower votes with its feet, you better believe that every other major employer in every progressive run state is watching very carefully. The dominoes are lined up. Palantir just knocked over the first one, and Governor Polis is standing at a podium right now, finding out about it on Twitter, wondering what just happened. The answer, Governor, is simple. You happened. Your policies happened. Your indifference to business happened, and the bill is now due. Thanks for watching, everyone. I'm Laura Ronson. Drop a comment below and tell me which state do you think loses its next major company. Hit that like button, share this with someone who needs to see the truth, and subscribe to this channel because this story is only getting started. I'll see you in the next one. Stay informed, stay awake, and never stop asking questions.